There's something I've been wanting to talk about for a few days. Let's get a little bit of brandy here from Suntory. Yeah, something I've been wanting to talk about for a few days. And I thought for sure that this person would address the rumors, the alleged reports, but he hasn't. And I don't want to have egg on my face when I find out the real information, but I'm just going to go based on what I know and what I've been reading as reports. Alright, so in Japan news, in Japanese professional wrestling news, there's been a lot of talk, and it all started with that hack Dave Meltzer, or as I like to call him, Mark Meltzer, Mark Meltzer. He started some kind of like article on his Wrestling Observer or whatever, stating that Kenny Omega, who, if you don't know, is a famous Canadian-born professional wrestler who became famous in New Japan Pro Wrestling over the last several years, and he recently left to go start a new wrestling company in America called AEW, or All Elite Wrestling. And New Japan's very bitter about it because they spent a lot of money and time building up this guy because they wanted to have a Western expansion, particularly North America, and they wanted to build this guy as their face of that North American expansion because he lived in Japan for a long time, was very immersed in the culture, he spoke English and fluent Japanese, and he was their ideal face. But he just straight up fucking left, and now they don't have anybody really to fill that void. They have some guys that can, like, potentially fill that void over time, but not in the way that he can, because he understood Japanese culture so well, because he loved it so much, and he'd been there so long, and he spoke Japanese. And the closest I can see that happening in terms of performance and immersion of culture is Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is pretty incredible. I'd say athletically, he's pretty much up there with Will Ospreay, with Kenny Omega, if not better, athletically. And he's definitely living in Japan now. He's signed a 5-year contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I feel like he's going in for the long haul, and he'll probably end up learning the language quite a bit in his time in Japan. And I feel like that's a guy that could build around. He's learning Japanese, he's bulking up, he's a junior heavyweight, and he's bulking up to heavyweight, which is great. He's a great athlete, and he seems like he's a really nice guy. But anyways, let's get back to Kenny Omega. So Kenny Omega left New Japan. New Japan's very bitter about that. And there's this rumor that got started by Dave Meltzer saying that Kenny Omega had trouble entering Japan to do a show for DDT Wrestling, which is like a smaller indie pro wrestling company. And it said it's the third time this year, for 2019, since he left. He left New Japan in January of 2019, after Wrestle Kingdom. He left to go start New Japan. He left New Japan to start AEW. And they say that 3 times he's tried to enter this country since then, this year, and he's had trouble entering the country. And this latest one saying that they're trying, there was an attempt. There's no sources made. It's just by Dave Meltzer, which that's not a source. Dave Meltzer saying something is not a source. It's a source of Dave Meltzer saying it, but where's Dave Meltzer's source? Where is his source? Where is his concrete evidence? And so basically, they're saying that he had a trouble getting into Japan for a DDT show, and that there was an attempt to ban him from the country for 10 years. And first things first, Kenny Omega does not have a work visa. Doesn't need New Japan for that. Doesn't need DDT for that. He does not have a work visa. He does not have a permanent resident visa. Which, if you have a permanent resident visa, it means you can stay in Japan permanently for the rest of your life with no company to sponsor your work visa or any kind of spousal visa from marriage. You're your own man. You can do what the fuck you want, or woman. You can do what the fuck you want. But every 7 years you have to renew it, but it's a guaranteed renew. Unlike a visa where it's a pending thing, maybe you might get approved for renewal, maybe you might have to go back home. permanent visa is basically just, you're renewing it every like 7 years. It's just some paperwork. It's fine. You're gonna get renewed. Unless you do something really fucking stupid, like do some drugs or rape somebody or murder somebody. I don't know. But Kenny Omega went one step above that. Gave up his Canadian citizenship. Got Japanese citizenship. And I know that seems pretty extreme. People say like, oh, it's impossible to get Japanese citizenship. Well, Kenny has been in Japan since like 2007. Alright, he's been in Japan for like since like 2007. And since like 2014 or 2015, he's been working for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So for like 4 or 5 years, he's working for like the top Japanese professional wrestling company and the second biggest under WWE in the entire fucking world. And I'm pretty sure that's great to have on your resume when you're trying to apply for Japanese citizenship. The guy's lived in Japan for over 10 years. Actually, fuck, he got his citizenship in like 2018, I think. So he'd been living in Japan for like over 10 years. Was fluent in Japanese. A highly talented, skilled entertainer / performer who's working for a huge Japanese company who is backed by like Asahi and owned by Bushiroad. And yeah, so like they have a lot of pull there. And he is very much ingrained in the culture, and he's part of that, you know, of the Japanese community. So naturally, you know, most people would have to be very skilled and have a lot of money and be here for a very long time to get citizenship. It's harder for a normal person, but Kenny Omega is not a normal person. He is a celebrity. And I know Japan wrestling is still a niche product, and despite what you might think, even in Japan, wrestling is not that popular. It's still a niche thing, but New Japan is still a pretty big deal. And him working for that company for so long and being at such a high level definitely made him look good and helped him. And when you have a company like New Japan backing you, it looks very good as a sponsor for you getting citizenship. So he got citizenship. He got Japanese citizenship. And then in the early 2019, after Wrestle Kingdom, which is New Japan's biggest show of the year, it's like WWE's WrestleMania, except better. And he went to AEW he went to America to start AEW with his friends. And New Japan's very bitter about that. They're very angry about that. And of course, Kenny Omega and AEW would love to have a working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but New Japan Pro Wrestling is very bitter about that because in Japanese culture, loyalty is above everything. Loyalty, seniority is over everything, and they get very fucking butthurt about that. So they look at that as a ultimate betrayal. They fucking hate Kenny Omega. They don't care about the business aspect of it. What was best for business, what was best for his career, his life. And they're all fucking whiny boo-hoo about it because that's Japanese culture. Yes, this is a negative Japanese thing. But yeah, New Japan was being very Japanese. Instead of doing what was best for money and for business, they fucking whine and cry and be like, oh, he left us. And it's fucking bullshit because they have plenty of fucking international stars that they can build their company around. And they're just being fucking ass hurt, alright? And so, this is where a lot of the fucking dumbass marks and self-proclaimed wrestling journalists get their bullshit information from. He had trouble getting into Japan recently to do a DDT show, and people think that New Japan has some kind of major pull within the Japanese government or the Japanese immigration, and they try to get him banned for 10 years. This is fucking ridiculous. And like, you have major wrestling news publications spreading this Dave Meltzer bullshit. It's bullshit. Alright, Kenny Omega, and it for some reason is not well known, people should know this when they spread this bullshit, he has Japanese citizenship. You can't ban a citizen from the country. And here's the thing. Japanese citizens, all the time, get pulled over by immigration when they're re-entering their own fucking country. They get pulled over all the time and get their luggage searched. They get interviewed about where they've been, what they were doing there. There's very strict immigration in Japan. Very strict. Very strict. And there's the normal line in immigration when you get off the airport. There's normal line for like tourists and people who have visas. And then there's a special line for people who have permanent residency. And then there is the line for people who are Japanese citizens. And naturally, considering that 98% of Japan is Japanese people, out of the like 130 million people, there's a 98% people are Japanese, and only 2% are foreigner. And out of that 2%, most of them are Chinese, and there's a lot of Koreans, and then there's Vietnamese, and then other Asians. Very, very, very small amount of white people. Out of that 2%, very, very small amount of white people. So you can imagine a citizens only line through immigration at the airport, filled with Japanese people. And then Kenny Omega, the white Canadian guy, with blondish curly hair, and he's very tall, he's very big and muscular, you know, bigger than the average Japanese guy, very muscular. Naturally, he's a target for discrimination, and I'm gonna say that's what it is. And a lot of this bullshit people are spreading is just exaggeration and hearsay until we hear Kenny Omega state otherwise. And he has made a tweet stating that his 2019 was crazy, and that some of the things that happened in his 2019 he'll tell us about in a future time, and it's crazier than what the media reports, and it was a very trying time in his life. I hope I don't get egg on my face for this, and he doesn't like say something that completely contradicts what I think. But honestly, I think everybody's blowing this out of proportion, and whatever happened was not as bad as what people think. And maybe it was bad, but maybe he's talking about something else. I don't think it has anything to do with him being barred from Japan. And I definitely don't think it has much to do with New Japan. People keep saying that New Japan is part of the immigration, they have power in the government. It's a fucking pro wrestling company. And you got people going like, oh, it's Yakuza run, it's Yakuza funded. That's probably true. But here's the thing. The Yakuza doesn't give a fuck about Kenny Omega. And you got people in comment sections of like YouTube videos going like, oh man, I hope Kenny's gonna be safe. He's not gonna have like the Yakuza visit him and threaten him to leave the country and stay away. Oh, we better pray for Omega that the Yakuza doesn't fuck him up. You guys need to fucking quit that shit, alright? Japan is not like the fucking Yakuza video games. The Yakuza is not like the video games, alright? They're not gonna mess with some fucking foreign wrestler, alright? Grow the fuck up, you fucking losers. Alright, and the worst part is you got fucking professional journalists who report on wrestling news spreading this bullshit, alright? Kenny Omega is a Japanese citizen. Japanese citizens get pulled over all the time. When they visit other countries, they get pulled over all the time to get inspected to make sure they didn't bring in any illegal substances, drugs, firearms, or any other kind of illegal substances in Japan. They're just very strict like that. Alright? And it just so happens that Kenny Omega is probably the only white guy in that fucking huge line. So it's just natural, because it's very rare to see a white guy as a Japanese citizen. Let's be honest. Alright? And yeah, it's just really disappointing to see people all spread this shit. Here's the thing. If New Japan had anything to do with Kenny Omega having any trouble getting through immigration, even though he has citizenship, you can't ban a fucking citizen from getting in his country. You can't. That's the whole point of citizenship. You have to give up your fucking other citizenship to get citizenship in Japan. They don't allow dual citizenship. So, to get your citizenship revoked in Japan is a very fucking serious thing. And I highly doubt Kenny Omega has ever or will ever do anything that will get his citizenship revoked. I mean, god damn. Even if he fucking murdered somebody or raped somebody, I'm pretty sure he would just go to Japanese prison. Like, at that point, like, he's got citizenship. Like, citizenship is hard to get. Especially in Japan. It's not a fucking joke, alright? So, you have it, and if he's a citizen, he's not going to just get to fucking port it and get his citizenship taken away. He's going to have to be treated as a Japanese citizen. He's going to go to prison. Alright? Alright, that's the whole point of citizenship. You get it, and you have it. It takes a lot to get fucking taken away your citizenship, and I'm sure anything he did probably wasn't going to get that taken away. So, New Japan could make a false report, you know, in my opinion, they can make a false report saying like, oh, we suspect this former talent of ours is going to smuggle in some illegal drugs, or maybe some firearms, or any other kind of substances, and that might get him a red flag. Or it could just be a red flag that he's the only white guy in the fucking line that's a citizen, and they're like, wait, is this real? Is this guy really a Japanese citizen? This looks like a scam. Like, we're gonna have to check the system, and we're going to, confirm with some people. We're gonna pull him aside and make sure he's really a citizen. That could be, at worst, that could be, at minimum, that could be Japan being very xenophobic and just assuming that the white guy is not really a citizen, and they need to recheck their system. And then when they found out that he was indeed a citizen and he has a residence in Tokyo, it's like, all right, sorry, there you go. And it happened 3 times this year. But hey, Japanese people themselves get pulled over all the fucking time in their own fucking country to get questioned, to get interviewed, to get their shit searched. It happens. All right, and yeah, at worst, you have maybe New Japan fucking with him, and maybe they might have some people in immigration who they might know, maybe people in the government. But let's be honest. No matter whatever they fucking do, if he has nothing to hide, if he's not bringing in drugs, if he's not raping people, murdering people, doing anything illegal, he has nothing to fear. They're not gonna fucking ban him for 10 years. Kenny Omega is a stand-up fucking guy. He's a great guy. They're not gonna fucking ban him from the country for 10 fucking years, and he's a citizen. That's just fucking ridiculous. All right, and I've seen people over the last few days spread this bullshit. I've seen people, the fucking nerds at What Culture, spread this shit, with no sources. Oh, Dave Meltzer said it. Fuck Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer's a fucking mark. I don't care that he's been reporting on wrestling for 30 fucking years. I'm 30 years old, and I've been watching wrestling since I was in fucking diapers. Does that make me the fucking know-it-all, that I know everything about the wrestling business? No! Like Dave Meltzer might have some connections backstage, but a lot of the stuff he says is fucking bullshit, alright? He's just a glorified mark. So, and then you got guys like Jim Cornette, commenting on it. And Jim Cornette notoriously hates Kenny Omega, because he's a fucking old man yelling at clouds. Kenny Omega is, like, one of the best fucking wrestlers of, like, all time, alright? And Jim Cornette is just an old piece of shit. He's an old piece of... And this is another video. I'm going to make another video about this, about how Jim Cornette, and it's Japan related. Jim Cornette is a fucking hypocrite, and he's a racist old piece of shit. He's a sexist old piece of shit, and I can't stand the fucking guy. Every time he opens his mouth, he says a bunch of fucking bullshit. Anyways, he's making, like, fucking jokes about Kenny Omega, and it's like, and the guy who sent him a question asking him his, like, opinion on it didn't bother giving him the information that Kenny Omega is in fact a fucking Japanese citizen, and he's giving his fucking uninformed, ignorant opinion on it, and Jim Cornette can fuck off. Yeah, people need to fucking know that he's a Japanese citizen. Alright, and this report of him being banned from 10 years is fucking bullshit. Now, maybe there was an attempt. Maybe there was an attempt by someone to try to get him banned for 10 years. But it was never going to happen, and it was never going to be taken seriously. Because Japanese immigration doesn't give a fuck about some white dude fucking being a pro wrestler in their country. They're not going to fucking spend any attention on him. Okay? Do you know how many Japanese guys get away with fucking rape here? They fucking molest schoolgirls here. And they get a fucking slap on the wrist. They get a slap on the wrist, maybe a fine, maybe a little bit of jail time. Sure, they might discriminate against a foreigner and give him more prison time and fines and maybe ban him from the country. Yeah, there's some people making jokes about, like, that girl Riho. She's 20 years old. She's the women's champion for AEW, and she has a close relationship with Kenny Omega. And he met her when he was a teenager. And, yeah, he was scouting her, and people make jokes like, oh, maybe the Japanese government found out he committed statutory rape when she was underage. if that was fucking true, the statute of limitations is far over anyway. And also, like, they wouldn't fucking care. They wouldn't fucking do anything about it. They're not gonna fucking do anything about it. And more than likely, she was old enough in Japanese law to consent to it anyway, and you know she fucking did. I mean, come on, no homo, but it's Kenio fucking Mega. Alright, Rio definitely consented to it. So, people making jokes about that. And then there's some people who are not making jokes and are actually thinking that has something to do with it. And they're fucking stupid. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. People think that New Japan is like the fucking... They think they're a fucking immigration. They think they're fucking the Japanese government. You actually had What Culture, who has 2 million subs on YouTube. They have the check mark and everything. And he's supposed to be like respected publicist. And they're like... news publication, whatever. They're fucking marks. They're fucking nerdy, skinny ass fucking marks from England. Fuck them. Alright? They're the worst kind of marks. I'm sorry to my English viewers, but the smarks that come out of England seem to be the worst kind of wrestling smarks. I don't know why, man. They're the nerdiest, the skinniest, the palest. And they're just so obnoxious. Goddamn. They're so obnoxious. Those What Culture fucks are so obnoxious. But anyway, it just, yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. He has Japanese citizenship. He's not gonna get banned. It's not gonna happen. I'm sure he has just as many people pulling for him and siding with him. They're behind him in Japan. There's tons of people who will vouch for him. He's not going to get banned from the country. So anybody who thinks that he's going to get banned from the country, they're fucking stupid, alright? He might run into some more trouble again, which is fucking ridiculous, by the way. Because he has citizenship. It's fucking ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous. And that says more about Japan than it does Kenny Omega. Anybody giving shit about Kenny Omega needs to learn a thing or two, because that says more about Japan than anything. Like, the fact that he's a Japanese citizen and they're trying to, quote, ban him, which I don't believe that for a second. I think that's overblown and exaggerated. I think that's just hearsay, people just saying shit. And, yeah, that just says something about Japanese immigration, that he's having trouble entering a country that he's a fucking citizen to. And that he's given so much of himself to. He's given his fucking body and his fucking mind and his soul. He's given it to this country. And then he has trouble entering his own fucking country. How fucking dare they? Alright? How fucking dare they? That's just ridiculous. They need to get their shit together. If that's true, that he had trouble entering the country 3 times, they need to get their fucking shit together, alright? They need to get their shit together and realize who the fuck they're dealing with. They need, you know, the government has all this shit. They have all this information. They have people in the systems. They have all these fucking computer systems. All this paperwork. They love their paperwork and their bureaucracy. They should fucking know who this fucking guy is. And after 3 fucking times this year of them pulling him over and giving him shit, even though he's a fucking citizen, you know, they should, you know, put a bookmark in that. Fucking put him in the system. Be like, okay, this is a guy that we've pulled over multiple times. He's clean. He's good. Alright? He's not a fucking criminal. He hasn't done anything wrong. Alright? So, next time, let's not be a fuckhead and fucking discriminate against him. Because I guarantee you that's what it was. It was discrimination, pure and simple. That's what it was. This whole talk about New Japan is bullshit. It's the Yakuza. It's bullshit. Like, fucking grow up. It's not the Yakuza. It's not New Japan. Alright, at most, it's discrimination by immigration. It's probably up to some fuckhead's discretion. Some fucking nerd at the immigration office is going through the line. It's up to their discretion. It's some fuckhead who's xenophobic. Alright, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm definitely interested to see what Kenny Omega has to say. Hopefully he'll talk about it soon. He said someday he's going to talk about his 2019. It's going to be wild stories. Things that are way worse than the media reports. Honestly, it probably is bad. He probably has bad things to talk about, but I don't think it's exactly what people are reporting it is at all. I just don't. I think people are just blowing things out of proportion, and they need to do some research and stop being so fucking ignorant. I feel like I had more to say about this, but I'm wasted. So, I don't really have any more to say about this. And if I think of anything else, if I edit this video and I forget something, then maybe I will make another video and add more to it, elaborate on it. But until then, thanks for checking out this video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell to get alerted of all my future videos. I like to, you know, rant about Japan and other stuff and drink a lot. Clearly, if you have noticed, I like to drink when I do my videos. And soon I'm getting a new phone. It's a sweet new phone. I'm gonna do an unboxing video for that. And I will start making some videos of that. Actually, this new phone has 4K shooting capability, which is nice. I'm gonna do an unboxing video for that, and then we'll do some 4K shit. I have a fucking gajillion different figures, anime figures to unbox that I've been collecting over months and months and months, and just leaving in my closet. I forgot what I even bought. And I'll unbox that stuff in beautiful 4K. That's what I've been waiting for. Beautiful 4K. Something nice to show the detail of the figures. And yeah, sometimes I go out and get nature and stuff. And if you want to see shit like that, then click the subscribe button and the notification bell. And in terms of like Japan, if there's anything you're interested in learning about or seeing, let me know in the comments below, and I may be able to help you out there. Thanks for watching this video. I will see you next time. Good night. He's Johnny in Japan. He's Johnny in Japan. He's the worst J-vlogger in the world. Crappy food reviews, barely any views. He's the worst J-vlogger in the world. Solo.